Did tweet. Hey everybody, welcome to Vaginal Fantasy. What is Vaginal Fantasy, you ask? I ask this every time because at least 2 people don't know what the hell this is. It is a book club where once a month, me and my co-hosts, we discuss a romance book that is usually with a genre twist. You know, fantasy, sci-fi, horror, this month, urban noir. And we have a really great time. We have a very active forum community. We have over 15,000 people now, part of the world. So join us for this hour and join us on the forum at goodreads.com/vaginalfantasy. Let me introduce my co-hosts who are awesome, and this is our 45th hangout. That is a lot of months, ladies. So down the line, we'll go down. We have Bonnie Burton.
I'm embracing my weird.
Yay! I love it. That's my shirt.
Yes, it looks like I'm slowly shrinking. I decided to drink champagne for a change, and it's very easy to drink. So, fair warning, if you're drinking champagne, just know there's a lot of bubbles, but you drink it quickly. Oh, this is Sophie. Sophie's sleeping, but she's my supervisor for this show.
Okay, so she's going to supervise your talking about a romance book. That's good.
Here.
Yeah. We also have Kylie Caseby here coming in from Oregon.
Hello. I had my baby shower last night, so you know I got trashed. I was super hungover. No, not at all. But it was fun. You know,
did anybody else get trashed?
Everybody else got trashed.
Okay. Well, at least somebody's celebrating the birth of your child with debauchery.
Yes, that's all I want.
That's how it starts. That's how big it starts. Be careful with baby showers that it's, doesn't turn into a weird orgy.
That sounds like a vaginal fantasy book you need to write, Bonnie. And then our last co-host is Veronica Belmont.
Hello. I only had like one tiny little glass of wine left over from my open bottle, so this is all I have for the whole show. So I have to take it easy, sadly.
You really do need to nurse that.
I have to ration it.
Yeah, I'm drinking Sprite because I was on antibiotics, so I can't do any of that alcohol thing. But that's okay.
Drinking then, like, legitimately may get drunk?
You're the only one, probably. I mean, you're the only one with an actual bottle of champagne, and then Kyla looks like she has a big thing of Tab, or what's that?
Some kind of non-calorie fizzy orange drink that has green tea in it.
Okay, good. That sounds lovely.
Oh, Bonnie's got a whole other bottle of Yellowtail over there. Jesus.
It's a Riesling.
Riesling. Oh, girl, you are going to be hung over tomorrow. Riesling and what was the sparkly stuff? You got...
I don't know. It starts with...
Champagne.
Oh,
Veuve. You got the Veuve.
I don't even...
Different Veuve.
The difference between Brut and Champagne and Prosecco, and I don't know.
Drier.
It's dry. Yeah, Prosecco is less dry.
And less alcohol.
And my husband will say that Prosecco tastes less like dirty socks because he thinks champagne tastes like dirty socks.
What does socks taste like?
What?
I don't know. I love it. Bonnie and I both had sparkling white wine today at lunch, so that was lovely.
What were you doing at lunch together? Oh, you were at a convention, right?
Yes.
Yeah, what? Oh, by the way, Veronica, the pumpkin patch is open if you want to go get a pumpkin.
Pumpkin season! It's pumpkin season! We're going to get some pumpkins and take some pictures.
Last time Veronica and I went to the pumpkin patch, she was having back problems, and I almost threw out my back trying to lift a pumpkin. And
that's right!
And all these people kept looking at us like, why are you guys acting like you're like 80? And we were like, where are the wagons? Where are the pumpkin handlers? Where are the pumpkin helpers? Like, why is anyone helping us?
I know. I was like, we need a wagon. We need young people. I had done something to my sciatic nerve. That was last year, and I couldn't walk for like a week. And then this week, I pulled an old injury in my neck and shoulder, and so I was out of commission and on like muscle relaxers. God, man, getting old, guys. Yeah, it's rough. Yeah. It's rough.
Guys, we have a problem with the feed. It's stuck on Bonnie. Which, even though it's not a problem, Bonnie, because you look lovely and you have a great shirt on, but the feed is completely stuck on you even when I'm camera switching, which is really weird.
Here, let's try something, because I had it on me for a little while on purpose. Is it going to other people now?
Yeah, everybody make sure
I'm watching the live
can't-
feed.
Now
Nothing's
I'm
changed
looking-
yet, but it's catching up to us.
Yeah, let me see when the chat catches up to us to see. Make sure that all the windows are unchecked if you guys have any, like, anchored or anything.
Nope.
And then we'll see if it's bugged. If it is bugged, then we might have to stop and restart the broadcast, which means that we have a different link, which really sucks.
You know what it might be? I accidentally clicked on the cameraman thing because we were trying to find that option to make our face prettier, smooth.
Oh.
And so I clicked on cameraman, but I didn't say I was the cameraman, but I clicked
Well, you know
No,
what we
I
could
clicked
try?
those
If
too.
Bonnie drops out of the call and then reconnects using the same link that we sent an email, she should be able to rejoin,
Oh
no
wait,
problem.
now it's totally now
It's switching. Yeah, I see
Veronica.
myself. Okay, great, cool.
Okay, now it's switching. Okay, somebody must have had the
Wait, is it
the
stuck on me though? Because it looks like it's stuck on me now.
It looks like it's stuck on you now.
It's stuck on me now.
I mean, that's okay.
I know what the bug is. It's me. It's because I freaking clicked cameraman, even though I don't know how to unclick cameraman.
All right, drop out of it. Drop out of the
Okay.
call and then click back in like a minute.
Drop out and come back, and we'll see if it fixes.
Okay.
Although, Veronica, your lighting is spectacular on your Hangout.
I'm getting a lot of shadows. I don't know. It's a little too
No,
too directional.
It's perfect.
It
I
really
need more
does look very
ambient
crisp.
lighting sources. It's making my guns look big.
I know you're kind of like
Welcome to the
they have
gun
the sculpted look. When people that
Like
hyper
doing-
sculpted look.
Yeah,
Maybe
like the
it's your
chiseling.
hairlight.
What do they
Yeah.
call it? The not highlighting, contouring.
Yeah, contouring.
Ooh.
You know what Kim Kardashian does to make herself look
So
the way she does.
is everything better?
I don't know yet. We
I'm
can't
not
tell until
sure.
it just switched to Felicia when Bonnie left. So it's
Okay.
flipping now.
Now it's flipping. It's flipping. It's flipping on all of us.
Hey.
Yay!
Okay,
I tech supported us. Yay! That's what
we
I
have
do.
switching. So basically, Hangouts needs to get with their technology because not only have they not updated anything in forever, but they also took away an option that said enhanced. So basically, you could click on the thing and get smoother skin. You could also give yourself kind of a halo, and you can also do black and white. And for some reason, everyone's missing that feature now. So I really think they should get on it because I really liked having a halo. Anyway, so guys, let's get back on track. Welcome to our Romance Book Club. So every month we start out our Hangout giving local Hangouts a shout out. So we have about 15,000 people on the forum, and a lot of those people are around the world, and they make their own meetups to talk about the book we're talking about that month and other books, and just generally hang out to drink with each other, men and women. And I like to give a shout out so you guys know that they're out there. So we have a bunch you met this month. September 20th, the Seattle Damsels met. The Long and Shots of It met in Dallas, Texas on the 27th. On the October 1st, Milwaukee, Wisconsin met. We also have the Reverse Cowgirls in Austin, Texas. They're meeting the 3rd, so I guess that was yesterday. Today, the Bay Area Bells met on a Google Hangout. The Viking Booties, the Swedish group, is going to meet on October 11th. The Denver Dames are going to meet on October 17th in Denver, Colorado. The Beers, Books, and Boobs are meeting in Lansing, Michigan on October 24th. And on the 31st of October, which is Halloween, the Gotham Quills and Quims are going to be meeting in New York City. So thanks to all the ladies and gentlemen who arrange our local meetups. And if you want to join one or create one of your own, just go to the local Hangouts section of the goodreads.com/vaginal fantasy forum. So thanks a lot for you guys to participate in the group. It's really awesome. 4 years almost, guys.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
bananas.
Isn't that weird? It's a little surreal, isn't it? Like,
It
it
is.
doesn't feel like that much time passed for us reading about sexy times. Anyway, oh wow, guys, we don't have. I'll try to promote some people to mods. Evidently, I guess Google resets the mods every time you have a live event, so that really doesn't make any sense at all.
That's great.
Yeah. So, but anyway, let's talk a
Google.
little bit about our choice. What, Bonnie?
I was like, how hard is this? I feel like it's almost become a drinking game. That every time we get on Google, they've changed something, they've taken something away that we love, or they just change around where the settings are.
Mhm.
So even
Yes.
Sophie agrees. I woke up Sophie saying that. Like,
It's like, ugh, I hate it. Mom, God.
it looks like she's gonna bark. She hates that whole Google situation. So I'm just saying, Google, get your act together.
She just totally head desked. She was
Well, I'm clicking on people, and you can actually make them set user as moderator now, but I don't know if it's actually working. So I just upgraded about 3 or 4 people. So you guys let
me.
Do me.
Are you in there? Okay. Set as moderator. Did it work?
I like saying it.
I don't know.
If you guys type in the chat, I'll set you. Mod for a day. Just 1 day, guys. 1 hour. Where's Summer? Summer.
I see other moderators. This doesn't matter. They'll do a great job, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah, they will. I really want you to ban people, though, Veronica.
Oh, I got it now. I got it.
I see you. You have a little wrench next to your thing, kind of like a Mario thing.
Banhammer coming down on you.
Okay. So, guys, our pick this month was Veronica's, and Veronica, I'll let you. Do you want to read the back of the book? Or do you want me to do it? And then Okay. I'm going to click on Bonnie, and so we can look at the majesty of that cover while you read the back.
All right. The world of fairy never disappeared. It merely went into hiding, continuing to exist parallel to our own. What is that sound? Do you guys hear that sound?
I thought you actually had a soundtrack. I was really impressed with you.
Special effects.
Secrecy is the key to fairy survival, but no secret can be kept forever. And when the fae and mortal worlds collide, changelings are born. Half human, half fae, outsiders from birth, these second-class children of fairy spend their lives fighting for the respect of their immortal relations. Or, in the case of October, Toby Day, rejecting it completely. After getting burned by both sides of her heritage, ding dong, Toby has denied the Fae world, retreating into a normal, quote, normal life. Unfortunately for her, Fairy has other ideas. The murder... The murder of Countess Evening Winterrose, one of the secret regents of the San Francisco Bay Area, pulls Toby back into the Fae world. Unable to resist Evening's dying curse, which binds her to investigate, Toby is forced to resume her old position as knight-errant to the Duke of Shadowed Hills and begin renewing old alliances. Old alliances that may prove her only hope of solving the mystery before the curse catches up with her. That needed like a bum, bum, bum!
Oh yeah, let me see, did they have that? Well... No, none of those work. By the way, Google people, add more sounds. We really need more sounds. That was beautiful, though.
Yay!
Yay! All right, guys. Oh, boy. So what did we think about the book? Veronica, do you want to talk about why you picked this book this month? And,
Yes. Okay, so I picked this book because I really liked the idea of reading a book that was local to my area. And not only was it local, it was like hyper local to my area. Like there were places in my neighborhood that were talked about regularly, and I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, I liked that idea a lot. I felt like we hadn't really done, I guess we've done urban fantasy a lot, and I felt like this was pretty solidly in the urban fantasy genre. And I haven't read any Seanan McGuire, and that was something I wanted to do as well, so I thought this would be a good kickoff to that. I was disappointed the sexy times, there weren't really any that were substantial, but I guess that's okay. It was a good story. I had a little trouble getting through the first half of the book. I will freely admit that. I felt like I was reading a book that was part of a series, like well into the series already. It had the sense to me of being pretty along the lines of an established world, an established series, and maybe that was intentional. But I always felt like I was playing catch-up, or that I was being explained to things that had more to them than I really initially understood, especially the relationship with Devin and the whole situation at home. Maybe she's setting that up for some kind of prequel. Maybe that's already happening. I haven't done enough research to really know what her world-building decisions are there. But even in the very beginning, when she talks about her husband and her kid, I was like, I feel like these are characters that are established and that we've already we should have already met them and know about their relationship and know about their background. And when we started meeting Sylvester and that whole court, it felt like there were very established relationships there that I knew nothing about, that we were kind of coming into late. So when the action picked up in the second half of the book, I started getting much more engrossed in it after I kind of learned who all these people were. But it's a very involved world. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of little side characters and rules and regulations and things that I feel like maybe I needed more build up to before I kind of got thrown into this novel.
Oh, good.
That's where I'm at.
We actually had a lot of feedback on the forum to that effect, which was interesting. Like, we had a lot of comments about diving in. There was a lot of things that weren't established, but like Pointieres42 pointed out, I love how minimal the explanations were. You're allowed to fall into the existing world that's mildly familiar rather than using long info dumps that wouldn't let me feel that this is an established world. So that's interesting. There were some conflicting things on the forum about that. But overall, your comments were pretty common, that people felt like there was a lot that felt like they were getting on a train ride that was already going. But
so you know how like when you read a series and you are, so for example, like the Kate Daniels series, in every new Kate Daniels book there's a little bit of exposition kind of explaining where they're at and explaining, you know, if you're coming into it fresh for some reason or if you haven't read them in a long time. I felt like I was, and normally I'm kind of like, oh, I know all this, I get it, okay, move on to the story. And this I was like, okay, I feel like I'm getting that exposition, but without having the prior knowledge of what had been happening. You know what I mean? Like, it had that very distinct feeling of catching up in a later part of a series. So that was just I kept getting hit with that because I do read so many books like this.
Yeah.
So that was a little difficult for me to get past.
Yeah. Kyla, what were your overall thoughts before we dive into some more detailed stuff about the book?
I really liked it. I was sucked in right away. I enjoyed that it was in San Francisco and that she was working at the Safeway that was, you know, near where I lived. I was like, I know that Safeway.
Yep.
I never went there at night. I didn't have a problem with not knowing what was going on exactly because, you know, you figured it out as you went along. It didn't bother me at all. And I also didn't mind the lack of sexy times, which we can get into later, just because the only sexy times there were with Devin. So we could talk about that later. And then I love the world of cats, obviously, and I'm trying to think of what else. I really enjoyed it. I had some problems with it, mostly with Devin, other than that, though, I really wanted to read the next one, so I liked it.
Yeah. I'll go. I actually have read this whole series a while ago, and I have to say that I think definitely the weakest book, and I've actually, a couple of people on the forum mentioned this as well, the weakest book is this book. So, and a couple people in chat have just said that that's what she does as a writer. She kind of dumps you into a world and then slowly unfurls it as the series goes on. So not to spoil anything, but a lot of the things that seem to be set up in the first book that she would deal with, like her family and some of the other things, like they don't come till way later in the series. And having gone and read all 8, which I got really obsessed with the series and read all of them in a row. The first 2 are the second one's a little bit better than the first, I think, as far as just more stable storytelling and that kind of diving in and understanding where you're going. After the third book, it really takes off, and the 9th one just came out, and I'm reading it now, and it's so good. So I would urge you, if there are things about the world building you like, and if you like her character and a few of the other key characters that you see here, definitely stick with it because it gets just as good as Kate Daniels as it goes along. It's just the first book I think is a little bit hard to get into. Okay. And having known so much about it and coming back to it and reading the first book again, I understood it so much better. But if I was just coming in fresh, like you said, Veronica, I do agree with you. It was a little abrupt. She seemed to die. Like I like the first half, having read the series, better than the last half, because the last half she just kept getting almost injured over and over again. It was like she just basically almost died every chapter ending, which was a little bit odd to me. She really needed to be in the hospital or something. but other than those small criticisms, I love it, and I love the world, and I felt like it was really vivid and believable, and she's a good character in that she's not just badass at everything, you know? And she does have emotional problems, and she doesn't deal with things in a way that I would, or you would want your hero to deal with in a perfect way, and I think that makes her more interesting. So, and also the King of Cats is really hottie, so
yeah,
yeah,
into that.
yeah. Anyway, Bonnie, do you want to wrap up overall thoughts before we get into more specifics?
You guys have said everything that I was going to say. I feel like the last person picked in class where I'm like, yeah, what they said. So, yeah, I felt it was weird because, you know, in Buffy, when they introduce the character Dawn, they do it in the first episode and act like she's always been in the series. So when you watch that first episode, you're like, did I miss a season? Did I miss an episode? Did I miss a special, like a Christmas special or something? So when I started this book, that's what I was like. I was reading it, and I'm like, is this book 2? Because
yeah.
so much other... It kind of felt like I was supposed to already know all these people. And I get it. Like, there's a lot of writers who do that. Movie makers do that. I mean, Star Wars starts off with no real explanation other than the opening crawl, but it's not like we get character origin stories or anything. So I was just... At first I just was paranoid I was going senile, and I just forgot the, like when you have to reread a paragraph because you're not paying attention. Like, so, like, 2 chapters in, I was like, wait, did I read about this character and I'm supposed to know this whole thing and I don't? So it was a little distracting, and maybe that's just I'm used to books that are a little bit more forthcoming with character development at the very beginning. But I liked the second half of the book more. I will agree that I'm very glad that she wasn't a kick-ass character at the very beginning, because I'm kind of getting female kick-ass like OD. So what's that? Fatigue. I'm getting kick-ass.
We had that a couple comments on the forum. Like, thank God, it's like the snarky, bitter urban fantasy heroine is such a cliche at this point.
It's weird because it didn't used to be. Like, it used to be groundbreaking type character, and now everybody uses the character. So now I gravitate more towards slackers and people that have normal jobs that don't require vampires showing up. Like,
yeah.
So that Safeway in San Francisco is very heavy vampire. I visit that Safeway at night, and I will say there have been times when I'm like, I feel like the Hellmouth shops the same time I shop at Safeway, so I try not to shop at 3 in the morning, because that's when you get behind the guy that has like the cart full of vodka bottles and adult diapers.
I had a guy at that Safeway recently that just bought one of those massive, kind of normal looking dude, but he just bought one of those massive ice cream buckets. It was like the biggest ice cream bucket I've ever seen. And I was like, you are going to have a party later.
Right.
Maybe it's just a you party, but you are going to have a party later.
Diabetes party.
I mean, if you're ever suffering from writer's block and you're trying to find really creepy, weird characters to write, go to a all-night Safeway at like 3 in the morning. And you'll find plenty of people that you can just steal their like weird quirks and put it in your book. Because it's very odd, and it's a very interesting subset of people that choose to shop at 3 in the morning for adult diapers and vodka. I'm just saying.
And why is it always Safeways? It's always Safeways.
It's always Safeways.
Because they're the creepiest places. Let's be real. And they're open 24 hours sometimes.
They have coupons. I mean, it's the kind of person who, like, the psychotic person who's, like, just smoked a crack pipe and is like, oh, I got a coupon out. Let's go get some Cheetos.
Well, like, okay, so Dapper Animals in the chat room mentions about the whole being knighted thing. Like, that felt like that had happened in an earlier book, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like, what? Like,
yeah, it was a lot of great backstory that you wanted to see happen versus be told that happens. And I think that's because it's such a rich world that she's presenting you. But I think that it is so rich and vivid and unusually filled out as far as world building that the fact we didn't get to experience that firsthand was almost like we were robbed.
Let's talk about all the things that felt like they happened in earlier books. Okay. Her entire relationship meeting Cliff was his name?
Yeah.
Meeting her husband Cliff and having her baby, and that whole relationship of marrying a human.
Her fallout with her mother.
Her fallout with her mother, her entire childhood, and that whole choosing, being knighted, anything having to do with the fairy queen and that whole court.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Like, because clearly now she thinks she's gone kind of crazy, but it feels like there was a time before when she wasn't crazy.
Her romance with Connor.
Her romance with Connor.
The guy
her
who's
entire relationship
her liege's daughter now, who's crazy.
Yes. Her entire situation of that whole court and that separate relationship. Her childhood with being at home with Devin and her obvious sexual abuse or entrapment.
Yes.
And her like being like a tough kid living with the other tough kid changelings and that whole scenario. That clearly is an entire separate book waiting to happen.
Or an SVU episode.
And her why Tybalt hates her. And everything having to do with that, why the King of Cats hates her. And so all those things feel like this could have been book 10 at this point, and I wouldn't have been surprised.
There were multiple times when I'd read something, and then I'd be like, I'm pretty sure I never read that. And so I would go back, I'd do like the frantic flipping through the book, trying to figure out if I had just lemmed over a chapter.
But that's why the book series gets better and better as it goes along, because you built this, like, what the fuck? I want to see more of that. And then finally one of the books will come and, like, oh, she's going to deal with her daughter, or she's going to deal with that court thing, or she's going to deal with her mother. Like, all these things start to come to the forefront, so they're almost simmering in the back of your mind. Like, I need to see that.
You need closure or something to that.
Is that, like, brilliant or not? I don't know.
I think it is.
It's diabolical is what it is.
Yeah.
It's like you're in an abusive relationship with a book, because you're like, okay, I want to keep reading. I remember when it was like nice to me and not like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like giving you intermittent reinforcement.
I know. Yeah. And then I get excited, like you guys were saying, you read about a character and you're like, oh, I want to read more about that character, and you finally discover more when it's in another book. But it just feels like kind of a bait and switch. And I love this book, I really did like this book, and just in case the author's watching, I did really like this book. Moments when I was like, am I stupid? And I don't necessarily like to read a novel and feel like I'm slowly losing my mind. So that's just a hang-up I have, that I just don't want to think that I'm slowly going insane because I can't remember anything. So I'm just glad it happened to all of us, and it wasn't just me going, did that get talked about and I just forgot about it?
I think it's just her style. It seems to be her style, that she's like, oh, yeah, this is me, and this is what happened to me, and this is why I'm informed about this point.
She's assuming that we're too smart. That's her problem. She's giving us way too much credit. No, I enjoyed the book too, and I like Seanan McGuire, and I think she's a great author. But yeah, this one that style, I think, just because we're so used to reading books in series, that format led me to think one thing when in actuality it was another thing.
I just tried to read another series that she did, and I had the same exact issue. That I think that's just her style of writing. And she writes under a couple of their pseudonyms too. Mira Grant, I think she writes under.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have all three. Well, I have 3 or 4 Mira Grant novels. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think it's just the way that she, But at the same time, I think it's a testament that most other books you're not that curious about people's backstories and want to see them. You're just like, you're fed the information and like, oh, okay, I'm shoring up my understanding of this character and the circumstances, whereas she has such interesting backstories and conflicted things that you kind of want to see that. So it's almost a testament to the writing that you have the desire to see it versus it's just some exposition to shore up your understanding. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's... Anyway. Somebody mentioned Cassie Palmer. They liked the fact that October is a normal urban fantasy character, and they compared Cassie Palmer. I believe that's Karen Chance who wrote that series. I used to love that series. The last couple books were so not good, but maybe I'll catch up with it again.
I always feel like that's such a sad situation when you get so invested in a book series.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you read, you think you're going to get all this backstory and like cool side character stories and all this stuff, and then just progressively that the author just calls it in.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's calls it in. She changed the romance to be like she brought in this. I don't want to spoil anything. She just brought a random dude in, and then it switched the whole paradigm that was set up. And maybe it was just because I didn't like that guy. Anyway, we'll move on. I don't want to spoil anything. Okay, let's talk about the lore, because I think that's one of the coolest things about this, the fairy lore. So in San Francisco, all the fairy are here, and it's called, what do they call San Francisco? Somebody put it down.
Kingdom of Mists or something?
The Kingdom of Mists was they call the fairy called.
That's a nice way to call fog. That's a nice way to refer to fog.
Yeah.
The kingdom of Carl.
Yeah, so when I walk my dog at 3 in the morning, I'm going to be, hello, Kingdom of Carl, because he has his own Twitter feed. That's what we call our fog. I think that's like, it's so dramatic and pretty. Like, it's like, most of the time in the fog, you just, hear, like, crazy guys screaming and sorority girls vomiting in the corner because it's 2:30 in the morning when the fog rolls in heavily. So, but that's much, Kingdom of Mist is so much better than sorority girl of Goldschlager vomit.
Well, like I said, I live in the same part of town as Toby does, and so for me it was like the visualizations were so spot on with how it is walking around this neighborhood at night and just the fog and the mist and the secret pathways and little alleyways, and it was totally dead on. It's going to make me look at my neighborhood completely different now, that's cool. When a writer can do that and evoke those kind of feelings, I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
there was one where what is the one, it's a kind of an urban fantasy series. It's not romance at all, but it is set in LA, and it was kind of fun. It is kind of fun when you live in a city to see familiar landmarks used in a way that make you think when you drive by, oh, that was in that book there. Yeah, somebody murdered a bunch of people right there.
I would have to say, except for 50 Shades of Grey, which was in Portland.
Oh, right.
So
okay, yeah.
Did they not nail Portland? I mean, well, they got nailed in Portland.
Yeah, no, it was all wrong.
Oh man, bummer.
So did you guys believe? Did you like did you feel like it was believable, the fairy, society that's kind of hidden? Was it interesting? Was it too complicated? What's going on? What did you think?
Believable with the Fae world, like we have some sort of empirical knowledge of what it's really like. Like, I don't know if it's like the real Fae world, because the real Fae world is like this. So this book was totally off base. Like, I love that we automatically assume there is a real Fae world and that one of us actually knows the details. I personally like the Fae world in this. It wasn't too unbelievable. I mean, I don't know. Was I the only one that thought it was believable? I don't want to go on a rant if everyone thought.
I thought it was believable.
Yeah.
I know a lot about the Summerlands, actually. But, no, but I thought it was totally believable. It made sense to me. So.
It seemed weird. I didn't understand the changeling's choice situation very much. So how does that work? So they can choose to either live in the Summerlands or get ousted or die?
They either have to become pure fairy and then leave everything behind, and that's what happened to her, because she basically, her magic came to fruition when she was about 6 or 7, I think, and the dude showed up and was like, hey, you got to choose, who do you want to be like, your mommy or daddy? And she was like, I love my mommy. And by saying that, she got taken away to fairy, and her mom basically was removed from her human life, and that's what was a sad thing that happened to her and broke her family apart, by choosing to be like her mother. But if she had chosen to be a human, I think she would have been stripped of all her magic and her memories of anything, and her mom would have had to become human as well. I think. Is that right?
Something where they got killed, or like there was
sounds like
there was some dying part.
Yeah, at some point, like they get killed if their powers are too great, or they can't control them, or something like that.
Yeah.
It was confusing, and I felt like they were like unfair mermaid rules. Like the Little Mermaid, like the original Little Mermaid, where it was like human.
Mm-hmm.
Human, so I guess if you get cholera and die, too bad. But if you want to be a mermaid, then you can't like flirt with the human guy. Like, you're never going to be with the human guy. So I feel like it's kind of like that, where traditional fairy stuff, it was never that choice. Like in Shakespeare, in Midsummer Night's Dream, the fairy and humans interact with each other all the time.
Oh, and her dad was killed. They burned the house down. That was it, yeah.
That was it.
The mom was made to go to fairy either way. Okay, that's what it was, Joe. Okay, so it made it sound like they got killed if they chose to be human.
Yes.
But the kid essentially makes a decision about whether or not their parents get killed.
And they're like 6.
Sucks!
You can't
well, that's why you're not
anything.
supposed to have the sex scene with the I guess.
Yeah, okay.
The kids that they'd be like, "Give me that Xbox, or you're dead."
It's a cautionary tale.
Yes.
It's don't put your pee in a magical V.
Yeah. Or vice versa.
Yeah. Don't have sex is crazy. That's really.
I've heard that one before too, said to my face. So
I really thought this was interesting too because she was a mom, and since Kyla is going to become a mom, I was interested in knowing Kyla's thoughts on the fact that is this the first character that we've read that's like a mom?
It might be one of the first, right?
Yeah. That doesn't become pregnant at the end, but actually had a kid already.
Yeah, pregnant in the epilogue, that horrible thing.
That's different. Yeah.
That's a whole different thing. I thought that was weird. It was really hard for me to. All of it's hard for me to connect with right now because I'm not really a baby person, so and I'm having one. Yay!
Here's the thing about that: you're gonna have one, so I feel like you're dealing with a squatter, so you're trying to evict it. Like that's what I feel like you're having right now.
Can't you eat some jalapenos and get it out of there, Kyla?
I'm trying. I'm doing everything I can. I'm just pushing it out. It's like toothpaste. Yeah. I'm rolling myself up.
Yeah. Is like shooing a raccoon away.
Yeah. Go over there so mommy can drink again. But the fact that she hadn't made contact or been able to make contact with her daughter was it was a little hard for me to believe that she didn't try harder, but at the same time I understood that I could see how depressed she was. So I understood that as well. She probably just felt like the whole thing was it just had no purpose. It wasn't going to work anyways.
But he was her dad, right? Like her boyfriend, she referred to him as a boyfriend, but he was the father of her kid, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Because that was what was confused to me. I had to go back and be like, wait, he got custody of her kid, but he wasn't the father? But then I was like, oh, they just weren't married. She was his boyfriend, but they had the kid together, right?
Were they not married?
I thought she said husband at some point, or maybe I just thought that.
Yeah, I got confused. There was a lot. You're right, guys. There was a lot of backstory that was thrown at you.
It was confusing, and also I was like, "Is there like a fairy foster program? Like, how does this work?"
Well, obviously not, because
they go to home.
Home, which is like the worst hell on earth.
Right. Okay, because I was like, I'd be all for foster. I'd foster a FAE kid. Totally.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Any FAE watching?
Yeah.
So should we talk about home a little bit and how
as long
weird
as watching once in a while, don't hog the remote and let me binge watch Columbo. I'm cool with it. I don't care.
Exactly. And I bet FAE baby poop is pretty okay to deal with too.
Maybe.
So, yeah, let's talk about this home situation. So it's basically a wayward home for changelings or fairy teenagers, essentially, but maybe a little bit older than that, but ones who basically can't fit in the fairy world.
Well, it's kind of like an orphanage, but it's not like, sorry, I have Sons of Anarchy in my neighborhood, and they like, I don't feel like it's like a FAE halfway house. It feels like it's, I don't know, like, how would you describe it? Because it did feel like an orphanage, but not really, because they're teenagers, right? Or they're older.
Well, they said that Toby she was 25 at the time, but that's in Changeling. So, okay, so just for anybody who doesn't know, so a big story point where she's investigating the death of a fairy woman, a pure-blooded fairy woman, it leads her back to a past life where after she went to fairy and and her mom and her as a kid were raised in fairy, she left fairy and went to this kind of halfway house for changeling children run by this skeevy guy named Devon, who is basically it becomes the antagonist in the show or in the book. And so basically she goes back to this place where this guy is still taking in, and if she was 25 at the time, she looked 16. She's very clear on that. And these other kids there are basically teenagers, and he essentially exploits them, right? Is that what you got, right?
Yeah, he traded their safety for sex, that's what I understood. and then he was abusive to them until they stood up to him. But even if they did stand up to him, he would still
like beat them up.
Yeah. I never understood what happened. You know, like how the dynamic worked where you stood up to him enough that you could get out.
She sounds like the only person who got out because that girl, what was her name? Dare.
Who ended up being murdered at the end.
Yeah, which was really...
If you're watching this, you're probably being spoiled, guys.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, Dare was like, well, you got out. How do we get out? And then Toby kind of goes into this like thought of being like, yeah, well, you know, I got out, but it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do. And I got the impression that she was like kind of the only person who did get out, or it was very difficult.
But you think people age out. Oh, Betsy Jane says home is like a neverlandy clubhouse run by an abusive Fagin gang-like leader.
Yeah. That's exactly
totally
right.
But there's definitely like suggestions of like sexual abuse and like, you know, he was sleeping with her and also controlling her, but she was also kind of into it, and I don't understand what was going on there.
I feel like if it was like Jabba the Hutt was your foster dad. Like, that's what it felt like. I felt like the skeeviest, worst guy to be in charge of teenagers. And clearly in real life, the foster program isn't the best, and there's constant, you know, tales of abuse and constant tales of kids just running away to get away from worse foster families. And when they get kicked out of a foster family, they were happy because it meant they might actually get thrown back into the system and go to a better family. So,
well, Lee on the forums points out that she basically says in the book she traded her virginity to him for protection, which is like, this guy's, I mean, how was there any part of this book where we were supposed to not think he was disgusting? Yeah. And then the one sex scene in the book, she has sex with him.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard to get for that when you know he's basically a pimp. Like, he's pretty much a pimp. The only thing, because that's what pimps do to, like, get their, you know, I want to say their employees. I'm not going to say hoes. I just did, but I know. But have a weird
freelancers.
Yeah, freelancers. That's it. Vaginal freelancers, which is another show. I feel like because of that, they try to, and it's usually young girls that get into prostitution. Pimps will have sex with them and lose their virginity to them, so they feel a sense of security. Well, oddly enough, with the pimps that are exploiting them. So it's a weird feeling of safety and security with definitely the wrong person. Like, definitely. And, you know, this doesn't even have to be a pimp situation. It could just be like an abusive boyfriend or husband situation.
Yeah.
Totally.
Or abusive girlfriend situation. That can happen too. So it's,
Robin Yablin says she was okay with him having sex with people for payment, but wasn't okay with it being her friends, which is a strange line to draw, which made me definitely lose respect for her a lot because, you know, they're these basically children, you know, and basically she's being complacent or okay with them trading sexual favors with this creepy guy because it was a safe place. It was the only place they can be to be more safe than being on the streets, I guess.
I don't know, that feels like a Pretty Woman rule where it's like, it's as long as you don't kiss on the lips, it's okay. Like, I feel like, no, that's not good. That's not safe. That's not healthy, and that's horrible. Like, it's a horrible, horrible way to live.
I just felt like she was groomed from a very young age to be a victim of abuse, and then she, you know, that there's this thing. It's called traumatic bonding, and it has that, you know, intermittent reinforcement where it's like, you know, I love you, but I'm gonna hit you, you know, but I love you, and then so of course it creates this feeling of being tied to this person forever, and you can't get that sense of well-being and safety that from anybody else except that person who is your abuser.
Yeah, like a Stockholm syndrome situation.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, I was wondering because that's what it felt like. That you just identify with whoever's abusing you because you want to make the best of the situation, and then eventually you talk yourself into thinking that this situation's okay.
Yeah, so you have to so that you feel safe.
Right.
And it's sad too because, I mean, she clearly feels so adrift because she's lost everything at this point, and she goes home to the one person that she ever, you know, who first kind of saved in big time quotation. And so she falls right back into that pattern pretty quickly.
Were you frustrated with the fact that she kind of put up with the fact that after 14 years she disappears, and then she essentially has a child that she doesn't fight to try to visit? I mean, some people, there were some conflicting, some people were like, I like the fact that she did that because she's flawed and she was obviously depressed and feeling like she couldn't affect anything. But at the same time, you want to see a character fight back, and I guess maybe that, I don't know, there was part of me that felt like, why aren't we seeing her try harder to get back in that kid's life? Because, I mean, I'm not
a character we've read about, they would be so much more aggressive about that. But because she's not a kick-ass character, and she's not as aggressive as we're used to, I feel like we're so conditioned to have that Buffy moment, right? Where we're like, hey, wait a minute, why isn't she kicking ass? Why isn't she fighting to see her kid? Why isn't she doing A, B, C, and D? When in all reality she's a victim and she doesn't have that much strength or a personality to do something that immediately. Like, it would have to be part of the storyline to build up to that. It can't just be, oh no, she's gonna basically punch everybody out and take what she wants. It can't be that way because that's not how she is. But it is frustrating too when you have a heroine that you really want to get behind and like root for, and they're doing all the wrong things, and you're like, oh.
I mean, how would she explain that too?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are.
Yeah, I was a fish for 14 years.
Yeah, I was a fish. I guess you didn't know I was a changeling. Also, you're part changeling too. I mean, Jillian technically she's got Fae blood in her as well. I mean, does she have to make the choice? Did she have to choose?
Like, read later in the series.
I know. Felicia's like pressing her lips together and like. No spoilers.
Well, that's what I keep hoping, is that she fights for the kid later in the series, or or at least they create a relationship or something. So
I'm sure that will happen because Felicia is smiling.
Yes.
What did you guys think of the overall plot, as far as her investigating Evening's murder, and did you see it coming a mile away that it was Devin? I don't know a little bit, but as far as like the adventure and the overall plot, did you like that? Did it seem believable, especially her being attacked all the time and not being able to do much about it?
A little weird where she's almost dying all the time. Like,
that's annoying.
It gets insurance. Maybe you should, I don't know, wrap yourself in bubble wrap or something. Like, if you're that big of a klutz and you're that type of person that always gets into a situation where it's life or death all the time, it just felt, I don't know, and all the assassinations, it just felt like over the top with this. I don't know. I'm babbling. Clearly the champagne is taking effect.
How much have you done? How far are you in the bottle?
Yeah. The bottle is, so I'm almost done with the Riesling. It's almost,
oh, Jesus.
You're not almost done. You got half a bottle left. You got plenty of time.
I started, okay, fine, enabler.
I thought the plot was interesting. I mean, we don't know many more about the hope chests. I'm sure we'll find more about that later. When the plot was kind of unraveling, I was, when Evening Winter Rose was being murdered, I was like, why do I care about Evening Winter Rose? Am I supposed to know her? What is happening? Why is she important?
I never really got why she was important. I know it was said a couple times, but I never understood what the connection was between them, that she felt loyal enough or assigned enough to really fix it for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we know she had to, but why did Evening feel like she had to?
Yeah, and what was their weird relationship where they hated each other but loved each other? So why did she pick her? I don't. Also, the smell of roses, that was just so Hunger Gamesy for me that now I just can't.
Why?
I don't like the smell of roses now.
The president smells like decaying roses.
Yeah.
Oh, Orange on the forum asks, what would your fairy magic smell like? Because Toby smells like, is it pennies, copper pennies, and oak or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Her magic smell. Everybody's magic smells like something. What would your magic smell like?
Mine would be Aveda products. Just like in a Vegas store.
Mine would be, I like jasmine. Mine would be jasmine. Or what's that other smell I like? I can't remember. Jasmine.
Mine would be cupcakes and orange blossom.
Together?
Yeah, because everybody has like two smells, kind of ish.
Mine is also the smell that's a warning sign that you have diabetes. So,
I didn't know.
no, I just found this out. I don't have diabetes.
What?
Up on it. Apparently, if you smell like maple syrup, like a sweet smell, you have diabetes. And I was
you smell like a sweet smell, or you smell yourself?
If you kind of smell, like everybody has like their own natural scent before you douse yourself with perfume and like deodorant and stuff. Yeah. If you smell like not your shirt, but you. And not your armpits, because if everybody's armpits smelled like maple syrup, I'm down with everyone.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Because
I would better. Yeah.
But no, it's like apparently you have a sweet smell. You give off a sweet smell if you have diabetes. So now I'm paranoid because you know those Demeter perfumes that are of all different kinds of things like popcorn and whatever. I have the Demeter called waffles.
You did smell really sweet today. When I hugged you, I noticed how sweet you smelled.
I have a waffle-scented perfume, so it's horrible.
It wasn't diabetes?
And I just started drooling. I started drooling uncontrollably and getting really hungry. And I thought that was just me.
Well, it's funny. Study done of what people are, like actual scents that people are attracted to. And especially guys are attracted to buttery popcorn smells.
Oh.
Yeah, I hate that smell.
I guess you just douse yourself with popcorn or butter oil. And then women are attracted to, for men, they're attracted to like a sweeter scent, not as much as a musky manly, but actually sweeter. And we're just not admitting it. So I was like, I don't know who I'm attracting. I attract my dog when I have smell like waffles, and I made Veronica happy. So that's all I care about.
Conquest Journal on the chat says, if you can smell peanut butter, you don't have Alzheimer's. Where is that science?
What?
That sounds
okay.
What if you smell
this? I don't believe it.
What if you smell peanut butter and you smell toast? Then you like.
If you smell toast, you have a stroke, right?
Right. But then if you have Alzheimer's, how do you remember that you're having a stroke?
Well, here's the thing. If you smell burning, that's a sign of a stroke. But what if you're a bad cook? Are you constantly having a stroke? Like, you would never know. And peanut butter...
This is true.
I eat...
Peanut butter is true?
What is it?
Go to your pantry and grab a jar of peanut butter. Can you smell it? If so, you may not have Alzheimer's.
Oh, that's good.
I eat peanut butter all the time.
Well, wait a minute.
Can you smell it?
I can smell it.
If you do have Alzheimer's and you smell peanut butter, is it that you just forget what peanut butter smells like? So you just
No, I don't know. Look it up. It's actually cheap Alzheimer's test made from peanut butter.
Okay, this sounds
I don't know about the internet sometimes.
No, look it up. It's actually on CBS. It's like real places.
Okay.
I would smell like jasmine and like, Old Spice.
Really?
Yeah, I love the smell of Old Spice.
I love the smell of amber, too. So
All 18 patients with early-stage Alzheimer's had trouble smelling peanut butter with their left nostril until it was an average of 10 centimeters closer to their nose than their test with the right nostril.
How do you even figure this shit out? Like, who realizes this and goes and does like a clinical study?
Does it say that this is done by Dr. Jiffy? Just like a better ad. Like, I feel like, you know when you look at studies, health studies, and you have to see who sponsored it, and sometimes when the health study is like, you know, whole butter, eat whole sticks of butter, and you're totally fine. It's like by the National Dairy Association. Like,
Well, the ones where there's like red wine can actually, you know, help you with dementia or cancer or something. But if you look, you have to drink probably 30, 40 glasses of red wine a day, which some people would be fine with.
I don't think I could do that.
Why did you make that sound like it was a bad thing? I know now. I mean, I don't even need health insurance anymore. I'm just going to drink red wine constantly.
Mm-hmm. Just wherever you go, just always have it on you.
Mm-hmm. I'm really upset about this peanut butter. I'm literally gonna smell peanut butter every morning to make sure I'm not getting it.
That's good.
But
That's good.
You might forget, if you have Alzheimer's, you might forget to go smell your peanut butter, though.
Oh, Ian said on Twitter that, I mean this in the best way, your magic would smell of jasmine and dog.
Oh,
In the best way, because I love dogs.
I do
Dogs
too.
are the
I
best.
love their head
Brooke and I
smells.
were at lunch today, and we kept seeing dogs walking by, and we would just be like trying to touch them. The creepy.
I got kisses by a beautiful Akita. It was very nice.
So did you bring Bodega?
No, it was a dog friendly, but my favorite dog at local cons is Wiggles, and she's a companion, like service dog, and she travels around with her mom to all the conventions, and she wears little cosplay outfits, and every time I see her, I go, Wiggles! And then I say very nicely, may I please pet Wiggles? And then her mom says, yes, and then I go, Wiggles everywhere on my face. It's the best.
At this convention, we were both at this convention called Convolution, which is a great like small convention in the Bay Area. But when I was doing craft tutorials in the craft room, someone had a service dog that reminded me of that tiny dog from the X-Files that ate the corpse. And
Oh, the little Pomeranian, the one in the sling.
yeah,
Yeah.
one, and it was the one that Scully adopts, and it's Quelke, or it's named after like a Moby Dick character, right? It's like some character, I don't know, some literary character. But it's a tiny little dog, and it kept growling at me when I'd bring my when this was coming near her, started growling. Which I guess if Akbar looks menacing, maybe like that.
He does look kind of creepy.
Kept barking at my puppets, and it was disturbing. And then she tried to eat googly eyes, so I'm glad she didn't do that. But I mean,
Can I ask a question though about service dogs? Is that kind of like, is it legit, or is it like kind of getting a medical marijuana card where it's just like
Okay, so if you really want the Veronica play-by-play on this?
I do.
Do we have time for this?
yeah, I mean, why not?
All right. So yes, there are many different kinds of service dogs. Only certain service dogs are registered under the ADA, the American Disabilities Act. So those are actually legit. Like if you see a sign in a restaurant that says service dogs only, those are guide dogs for the blind, seizure detection dogs, diabetes dogs for telling when someone's about to have a stroke or a diabetic attack. Therapy dogs, however, do not fall under the ADA, so they're a different classification. So they're not service dogs technically. People will argue about this, but technically by the law, they're not service dogs under the American Disabilities Act. So they can do certain things. People let them into buildings or on planes and stuff, and you can get a doctor's note saying that you need to have that dog there for therapeutic reasons. But technically, they don't fall under the same category as a guide dog or a PTSD dog and other dogs for those kinds of concerns.
Oh,
so there's a big difference. And actually, fake service dog vests are a huge problem because people buy vests on the internet, bring them into locations. Their dogs haven't had the training to actually know how to act in public spaces, and so they can be a danger to other service dogs or people with disabilities. So, and then other restaurants will be like, oh, well, I let this service dog in one time, and it totally made a mess and pooped on the floor and attacked a patron, and then they give actual service dogs a hard time when they come in to use their store or restaurant.
That's not.
So
I mean, I was
that's
at a nail salon
problematic.
one time when a girl was like, "No, they're therapy dogs," but they were clearly Pomeranians who'd never done anything, and she was like, "I'll show you the paper," and she got really pissed off, and I just wondered how easy it was. Because
It's very easy to get a fake vest, and the problem is under the law, you can't ask a person what the dog is a service dog for.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes. You can't say like, oh, what's that a service dog for? But it's usually pretty easy to tell based on what vest they have. If it's a Guide Dogs for the Blind or Guides of America vest, they always have the same vest, and you can't get those online. But if it's just a dog that has a patch on the side that says service dog, there's a good chance it's probably not.
Well, clearly I have a service dog because she's trying to make sure that I can walk across streets safely. No. Basically, if I tried to use her as a service dog and she saw a squirrel or a cat, I'd be killed. Like, she would run across the street with me dragging me along. And it's funny because I've seen so many therapy dogs at conventions where people have these angry Pomeranians that are like,
Yeah.
is it a therapy dog because I need therapy after I see your dog, or is it a therapy dog because you think?
That is not, I don't want to knock therapy dogs because I think dogs are very important for helping, especially autistic people or people with depression and
Anxiety
things
and
like that.
depression.
But
Yes, social
they probably
anxiety.
just shouldn't be in all the places that service dogs should
Right.
be.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's like a, like a handicap spot. If you have a handicapped hanger, You see a lot of people where you're like suspect they, but then because those people abuse it, then people give I have a friend who has lupus, and for a while she had to use a handicap because she literally couldn't walk, but then people harass her because she looks able-bodied, but she's not at all. She was definitely needed.
That just seems so evil to harass someone
she got harassed a lot.
People can be jerks.
People are terrible. And the ones who cheat are the worst.
I would like a service rose goblin.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I want a rose goblin.
I did
all right. Well, I guess we can wrap up, guys. Let's, as always, we should do our casting because we had a lot of casting on Tybalt. We had a lot of. So I'll go down some of the things on the forum. We had Tybalt. Michael Fassbender was a very popular one. Johnny Depp. Idris Elba.
Oh, wait, back up. Are we talking about Johnny Depp when he was cute or Johnny Depp now where he's kind of creepy looking?
Well, I don't know what's going on with him now.
Like the lead singer of Very Smith, where you're like, there's a lot of angles to your face. That just feels like there's, you know what I mean? Like I kind of liked Johnny Depp when he was. I mean, everyone looks better when they're younger, except for like maybe Helen Mirren still looks like she's getting better looking. Like there's people that get better looking as they get older, like George Clooney, I think.
George Clooney definitely looks way better. Have you ever seen the Golden Girls episode where he had the hair that looked like it was Donald Trump size?
Oh,
it was really large.
Or when he was a guest star on Murder, She Wrote, which he was.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. He had like the weird
facts of life.
Bullets. Yeah. Now he's like super hot. So it's like, I don't know. When people say Johnny Depp, I'd like to think that they probably mean old, like early Johnny Depp years.
Like 21 Jump Street Johnny Depp.
Oh, yeah.
I would do Tybalt I would do Orlando Bloom from early Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Okay. I was thinking Tom Hiddleston, even though he's a popular choice, he felt lithe and sort of lean in a cat-like way.
Especially if you've just seen Crimson Peak, I will guarantee you'll say Hiddleston for this.
I really can't wait to see that.
I can't wait to see that either. I was thinking of the. Did you guys watch Sense8?
No.
I watched the first one.
Love it.
Ooh, Fury says Rami Malek from Mr. Robot.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah. He's a little creepy. I mean, not in a bad way, but I wouldn't be. I think Tybalt is so hot, and I don't know about Rami Malek being hot.
Yeah.
I think he could be hot. I think he's hot.
For me, I was thinking of the German guy from Sense8. Because I thought.
Yeah, he's also Kyla. If you like him, he is also. If you want to see more of him, and I do mean more, there's
I think I've seen a lot of him.
There's a vampire movie called We Are the Night, and he's the love in that, and it's it's dubbed, so it's a horrible dubbing, but I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but you should be able to find it. It's called We Are the Night, and it's a great vampire movie.
Oh, he's really cute.
He's naked.
Yeah.
Okay, who is this? What are we looking at?
The guy was mentioning.
We're looking up the very naked German guy from Sense8. Okay, what about Toby? I personally, I know this might be controversial. I was thinking maybe I got a little Kristen Stewart vibe. No?
Oh, how old is the character?
Well, she was supposed to look
like
around 25-ish because she didn't age when she was a fish. So the forum thought Bridget Regan, Kate Beckinsale, Lauren Graham, and Emily Clark. Although Emily Clark would be actually a good one too.
Lauren Graham.
Amelia.
Amelia Clark.
I don't know about Lauren Graham. That.
I was thinking of Mara Wilson. Is that her name?
Oh yeah, she's cool. I know her from Twitter.
But you list
really
old. What? What just happened?
You cut out for a second.
No reason? Okay, I'm taking a drink while we all figure out what just happened.
Wait,
what just happened? What happened?
I think somebody cut out, that's all.
Oh, okay.
For no reason, and then I was like, did I say something offensive? Because sometimes I forget.
Oh, man, you really set the chat room on fire with that Kristen Stewart tip.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
They either love it or hate it.
Here's the thing.
She's been good in a couple movies. You know what I'm saying? She's done
other stuff. Like, if you hate Twilight, I totally understand. But she was really good in the Joan Jett movie.
She was also good in that Julianne Moore movie with the Alzheimer's.
Yeah, and she's good. Ultra whatever of the Stoner Assassins.
Yes, she was really good in that.
Yeah, and that was actually a really good movie that tanked, unfortunately, but it was a great movie. I love that movie. And
I did too.
She was great in that, but she plays a really good badass character. Great as Joan Jett in that.
Yeah. No, Joan Jett, she was really good too. Okay. Anybody else for October?
Music.
No, that's fine.
I don't know. I hear something. It's not me though.
There's a train. There's a big loud train somewhere.
It's
It's got to be Kyla, 'cause I know
It's
that there's
me.
a train near her house because her kitty got out.
Okay.
There was drama with the kitty and the train tracks. I know that much.
He wants to ride the trains. He's a hobo.
He's a hobo.
at
He's
heart.
a traveler.
Can we say
Okay, everyone's still really angry at me. Fine, Ellen Page. Fine.
just ignore it? Who cares? I like Kristen Stewart. I think she's super hot. Like, honestly, like, I love her as a person because she came out when no other, like, actresses were really coming out of the closet.
And now everybody's doing it.
No, I mean, quite honestly, that's a hard age in Hollywood to come out of the closet, and
I think it is, really. I think it's awesome. But she had to kind of pave the way, which, well, you know.
Yeah.
She and Ellen Page have both sort of said, you know what? Like, I think Kristen, I don't know if Kristen's bi.
Also, Carolyn Devaney, or whatever her name is. Carolina?
Oh, with the
Devin,
eyebrows.
the eyebrows. With the brows.
Yeah, the eyebrows. Eyebrows? Yeah, she did it too.
Well, she was great because, like, you go to press junkets and all these reporters kept asking her about her sexuality and she just shut them down. Like, it was so great. Who was the guy that just did that? There was an actor that did that.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. They asked him,
yeah.
he just, like, shut them down. Like, just kind of shaking them into why is this so important to you to find out who I'm attracted to? Like, why is my sexuality important to this press junket? Like, and I'm really glad that more and more people are calling these reporters out because it's just like they just want, like, you know, scandalous headlines.
Well, they just want to get whatever clickbait they can, which involves sexuality, because we are a repressed society who can't deal with sexuality.
Especially Matt Damon. Matt Damon cannot deal with your sexuality.
Oh, man. Matt Damon, when he made all those comments and, like, people should stay in the closet because of Hollywood, I was just, like, thinking of Team America Matt Damon. Like,
I know. Matt Damon.
Amelia Clark. We were talking about Amelia Clark, Jennifer.
Like, anytime a straight person says to the gay community that maybe they'd be better off in the closet, you should not talk anymore.
No, you should
just
be quiet.
Like, you could talk for straight people. Like, you could tell straight people to stay in the straight closet, and then everyone should come out. But if you're, I just really don't, it just drives me. It's like when white people talk for the African-American community. It's just like, shut up. Like, every time you see Fox News and some white guy's like, racism's not a problem.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh.
Delavina.
Yeah, I can't say her. I can't say her name.
Cara Delevingne.
Delevingne.
Is she like an heiress? She feels like she's an heiress. Like she grew up and she owns estates, and she happened to be gorgeous and happened to become an international superstar.
That's how it feels to me too.
You have all these models in, like, the Taylor Swift, like, Google circle.
The girl
they're all, like, super beautiful, and they're all actors. They're becoming actresses, and I mean, I don't know. I'm stalking Taylor Swift a little bit. So I just care about, I love it when I see these models that are now actresses that are actually legitimately good actresses, and it's fun to see them deal with press junket people. Because when you're an actor, and maybe Felicia, you could probably say this, like, because that's your career. When you do press junkets, you just know you're gonna get, like, a whole bunch of dumb questions, and you just have to kind of, like, go with the flow and not call reporters out for being idiots. And when you're not an actor as a trade and you suddenly become an actor, I think a lot of these people call these journalists out and say, "You're an idiot. Like, why are you asking about this when you should?" Kind of like the red carpet. All the women are asked about their outfits, and all the men are asked about their characters that they play. You know, it's like, well, that's why the Amy Poehler Smart Girls thing was. They're like, why don't you ask her something about her role and not about her shoes? So
that was great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, somebody actually suggested Anna Akana, which I thought was really cool because I can actually see her as Toby. If you,
you know what? I like the Queen of the Mist casting suggestions that we got, like Jennifer Connelly and Tilda Swinton, and who have all played queens in some part in some movie. They've all played either evil queens or nice queens, so it's interesting. I love Tilda Swinton as any kind of character.
I can't wait for Doctor Strange.
Oh,
yeah.
She's playing a guy character, right? They changed the character for her?
They did it just for her. Like, it's like, of course they did. And if you've watched Orlando, like, Is it Orlando, where she plays both male and female characters?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
love
one of
that
my
movie.
favorite movies. I saw it in the theater when I was in college, or
Me
before
too.
college, way before college.
Yeah, that made me like so happy.
Which one?
Orlando.
Orlando. It's such
Yeah.
a great movie.
I read the book too.
Yeah,
I just loved it so much.
Yeah,
Oh,
the book is
yeah.
pretty. I think the movie's almost better just because it's so sumptuous. It's so beautiful.
I agree with you.
All right, guys. Well, we could talk about that kind of stuff all day, but I guess Vaginal Fantasy's over. If you read the alt book Dark Fever by Kara Marie Moning, there was a very active thread on the forum where lots of people chimed in. I read that series. I was infuriated by the ending, but I'm not going to spoil anything. But I was.
I guess I owe us an alt vlog video on that, don't I? I'll have to.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I know that next month is my choice for the books, and I will do an alt vlog. And our theme next month is Westerns, guys. We have never done a Western, and even though there's no paranormal element in the Westerns that I picked, I consider Western a genre, such as any other, so that we are kind of in the genre world. And the books were very well reviewed. I have not read them, so there were no proofing, but they got lots of good reviews, and I'm actually excited to read them because I've actually never read a Western romance. Have you guys read any Western romances?
No.
I grew up with Westerns because my dad used to read Westerns, and I grew up in Kansas and cowboy country, and so I'm very, oh, I hear a kitty cat. And I'm excited to read this, but we'll see. Like, I'm a big fan of Longmire. So every time I watch Longmire, I'm like, I know who I want to see who have sex together. So I'm. But I have a question about these books. What era does it take place in for the?
So both of these books. So our main book next month will be Silver Lining by Maggie Osborne, which had this kind of wackadoodle sort of description that I had to go for. And then the alt is called The Outsider by Penelope Williamson, and there was actually a TV movie done in the 90s about it. I want to kind of try to see if I can dig up. And that one is, and they're both 19th century.
Okay.
So they're one of them, the main takes place during the gold rush in California, and then the alt, I think, takes place in Montana with an Amish woman protagonist with a kid. And the first one, the main also has an element about children in it too. So I guess we're kind of branching out and just sort of celebrating Kyla, who's about to become a mom herself. Yay!
Yay!
So I'm excited. Our hangout will be October 27th. So please join in and go to the forum, goodreads.com/vaginalfantasy, to discuss, add suggestions. We always want to look for other books within the monthly genre that you can suggest. Just start a topic under the right under the right heading and just have at it. Everyone can just start topics whenever they want and join any local hangouts. So thanks for participating in the book club, you guys. Any last words, you guys?
Nope. Hungry. Gonna go eat dinner now.
All right. I'm almost done.
All right.
All right, you killed it. You killed it, girl.
All right. See you next month, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.